guys, we have a lot of major news for you. So the first thing we got to cover is that Binance's executive, one of their executives that was detained in Nigeria, is basically dying in jail. And their current CEO, Richard Tang, is calling out the inhumane treatment. This dude has a serious condition. He needs to be let out in order to get surgery, and the Nigerian government won't let him out. So he is literally dying in jail. Of course, Binance CEO CZ is also in jail, but he's in a much more plush jail in the United States. And their current CEO, Richard Tang, is not speaking out on his treatment because I think his treatment is actually okay as prison treatments can actually be. So this is the Nigerian guy. And like the Binance versus Nigeria saga intensifies as Tigran Gambaryan's health deteriorates. The detained executive condition has been on a rapid decline since contracting malaria back in May. So obviously Nigeria, equatorial region, has a lot of tropical diseases, malaria being one of them. He contracted it. Since then, it's been alleged that he had been denied the necessary medical treatment by the authorities. So they're not giving him treatment for malaria. Obviously, if malaria is a deadly disease if it's not treated, we do have treatment for malaria. But it seems like, I don't know if they're waiting for a bribe from him to like get to live or whatever. But they're kind of trapping him in jail with no treatment for malaria, which could easily be deadly. In the most recent development, a new alarming video of Gambaryan emerged displaying the executive's weak state and harsh treatment he has received. The exchange's CEO denounced the Nigerian authorities and urged Gambaryan's immediate release. The U.S. actually has spoken out on this, and the U.S. has urged the Nigerian government to release him, but the Nigerian government and their princes are not releasing him. Like I said, they might be waiting for some kind of bribe to release this guy. So on Tuesday, Binance's CEO Richard Tang commented on the Nigerian authorities' conduct towards Tigran Gambaryan. Tang replied to a video on X that recorded guards' harsh treatment towards the executive as he tried to walk to court on Monday. And of course, if you're very weak with malaria, your ability to actually walk to court is very, very much restricted. In the disturbing video, he was struggling to walk with crutches due to problems with his spine. Serious diseases can't affect you like that, especially if you don't get it treated. And the guard refuses to assist him. Binance's head of crime compliance questions the reason not to be given a wheelchair. Obviously, they're trying to make things as hard on him as possible. I don't really know if they just want his money or not. That could definitely be the case. It is quite a corrupt country, as we know by the Nigerian prince scandals, which are obviously not real. And they were even told that the guard was told not to help him. The officer accompanying him stated that that Gambaryan had to manage himself and was okay enough to walk. They're definitely trying to squeeze something out of him, in my opinion, because there's no reason to treat a prisoner this way. And he basically said like the entire situation was really effed up. And Tang actually shared the video, and I do think there's going to be some international pressure in terms of getting this guy out, because I don't really know why they're holding him, and I think they're just making up some BS excuses to actually hold him. This is way worse than the U.S. situation, where like if this happened in the U.S., they would actually, if their guard was there, he would actually help CZ walk and stuff. Obviously, they're just trying to make this guy suffer as much as possible. They were like ordered not to help this guy walk, even though this guy has serious medical problems right now. So they're definitely, I think, trying to extort something from this guy. And it's probably that his massive amounts of money they're after, because they probably believe that he has a lot of money being a former Binance executive. Whether that's true or not, I'm not really sure. Let's move on. XRP might have a new pump date. What do I mean by that? Remember the SEC can still appeal the Ripple decision, but they haven't done so yet, and it's been almost a month. They only have until the end of September. So September 30th, remember that date, folks. If the SEC does not appeal by then the SEC will not appeal. So as we approach September 30th and the SEC doesn't appeal, XRP might pump, because that means the ruling will stand. Or if we don't get an appeal by the 30th, XRP might pump because the fiasco is finally over. Now, they still can't use XRP and ODL because primary sales have actually been deemed as securities. They would have to register XRP as a security with the SEC to actually do that, which they can't. But the sales on the secondary market with the exchanges are not included on that. So that could be a victory date, a final victory date, because there is a deadline for the appeal that the SEC has to follow. Gary Gensler knows the election is coming up too, and this might actually make him and his party look bad, so I don't know if he's going to do that, but I don't think Gensler really cares about that all that much, and it's really like his ego that's going to get in the way. So I think there's going to be a lot of excitement as the countdown to appeal actually approaches. And if they don't appeal, I think XRP could go up because there's going to be a big hoopla about it at the end of September if they don't appeal. Since the ruling, the SEC has remained silent, fueling speculation about its next steps. Remember, if they appeal, it could backfire on them and they could actually lose the part of the decision they won too. So it's not like a get out of jail free card for them as well. And of course, Ripple's CEO says the SEC can't actually challenge the ruling. That's what Brad Garlinghouse said. It's very unlikely that the SEC would actually win on appeal. Appeals for these kind of situations generally don't work, and they probably don't want to lose the part that they won either. Garlinghouse also suggested that the SEC's aggressive approach towards cryptocurrencies might change with upcoming leadership shifts after the U.S. elections. He noted that nearly 4-year-long lawsuit could be finally coming to its end. So Bill Morgan obviously has some thoughts about this. The core ruling to which he refers is that XRP token itself is not a security. It's just the way that it's sold, whether it's a security or not. There is no credible path. George Orwell and SEC versus Payward Incorporated Kraken case went as far to say that the SEC could not even argue that the tokens in question in that case were themselves securities. So basically, like, most cryptos have already gotten clarity on the overall market. Several judges have actually reinforced the XRP ruling and other rulings. So there's very little chance that the SEC could actually win even on appeal. So yeah, SEC is in a bad position and there could be an XRP pump. More good news for XRP is John Deaton has won the Massachusetts primary. That does not mean he has beaten Elizabeth Warren as senator, because that is the general election, which will happen on the first Tuesday of November, But he is actually the Republican nominee now, and he won with an overwhelmingly over like 65% of the vote. Now, the polls, which the last poll was done in May, so it was like 3 months ago, so that doesn't really mean anything, showed he was actually trailing the next guy by about 4% back in May, but he won by like an astounding 40% or more than 40%. So Deaton has a lot of popularity. Can he challenge Warren? I mean, polls back in May said he was down like 2-1 to Warren or even more, but I'm not really sure if that holds because Deaton's popularity seems to be undercounted. Now that district is a very, very blue district. But I think Warren's a little bit worried. I still think it's like Warren plus 25 right now, so it's fairly safely blue. And none of the political analysts are even thinking that state is a toss-up. But Warren is, like, Deaton's obviously very popular with the crypto bros, but not all the crypto bros live in Massachusetts. And there may not actually be enough Republicans in Massachusetts to actually turn it around. So very kind of like interesting type of thing there. But I'm not really sure if he has what it takes to win. However, the polls did severely underestimate him from May up until now. And now that the Republican nomination is over, then he's won, the GOP might consolidate all their votes behind Deaton, and that could actually give him a push. But however, because the district is very, very solidly blue, Joe Biden won it by like an amazing amount, and Elizabeth Warren actually beat her last competitor in the Senate race by like 20-25 points. It's not looking very good, and I don't know if there's enough crypto bros to actually pull him over the finish line, but he is a very, very popular candidate in Massachusetts. I think he speaks to the people well, and since Elizabeth Warren's like busy in Congress, he might actually have more people to kind of like try to pump his candidacy up even more. I don't think he'll win, but there is a non-zero chance that we could be surprised. And I, for one, hope that on this district, we will actually be surprised with a Republican win, because I do want Warren out of Congress. I think with Elizabeth Warren out of Congress, Gary Gensler would lose like a lot of his support, but I don't think that's very likely to happen, mainly because of Warren's popularity in her district with her voters. Now, there is another $27 million exploit this time, and it's this thing called PinPi protocol, and it suffered a $27 million loss. That brings the total amount of cryptocurrency hacks to $1.21 billion in 2024, and that is a 15% increase from 2023. So the PinPi protocol an independent decentralized finance protocol built atop Pindle. So it's built atop the Pindle thing. Suffered an exploit on September 3rd and was drained of 27 million in client funds at the time of the writing. They've kind of shut it down so they can't drain anymore. And I hope people actually get their money back. The on-chain people traced the offending transaction back to an address ending in BB7, which was one of the multiple addresses used by the attacker. As a precaution, PinPy has suspended all deposits and withdrawals at this time. Spokespeople for Pindle also reassured users that all customer funds remain safe following the hack and paused all contracts until the issue is resolved. Now, obviously, these things do not look very good for crypto, that we have these multi-million dollar, tens of million dollars hack every a couple of days. It's going to be hard for some people to trust crypto that way. I think those people are going to be like buying the ETFs of Bitcoin rather than crypto. So if we want people in the market, we do have to take care of this as an industry. I'm not exactly sure how we're going to do it, but like shoring up these hacks before they happen and really like punishing people that actually exploit. Like we do have to put some efforts into catching these guys and like, shutting off like their off ramps right when they do it. Mixers really like, I don't think like writing mixers should be illegal, but like realistically at this point, I'm starting to turn against them because they are tools that people actually use, that a lot of like scammers actually use to hide their own coins that they've stolen or their transactions. And they make it much easier for scammers to get away with this stuff. I'm actually seeing stuff like Tornado Cash as primarily a tool for black market transactions for people that really need to hide their transactions. And a lot of those are scammers and thieves. So I'm actually not a fan of mixers at this point. I don't know what you think about that. You might think like it's a great step for privacy, but I actually think it's going to end up being a hindrance for like mainstream adoption into cryptocurrency because it does actually make it much easier for scammers to get away. And I think that's going to be the majority use for the mixers in the future is by scammers. Now, you might not agree with that, but I think it's kind of going that way because all these scammers go through one of those things. And these are tens of millions of dollars, if not billions of dollars sometimes, that actually get washed so they can actually cash out somewhere else. So yeah, that's going to be a bit of a problem and it's going to make the crypto industry look really bad. And it will hinder a lot of people from getting into the industry and it might bring the authorities down. So none of that stuff is actually good. The other thing is Matic to Polcoin migration actually happens today. Polygon is going to initiate token migration from Matic to Pol within hours. By the time you actually see this segment or this recording, it might have already happened. So basically, this move aims to enhance the network's flexibility in issuing new supplies. Matic has a strong market presence, boasting a market capitalization of $3.6 billion. Moreover, it ranks as the 28th largest crypto asset, hence the migration will directly impact a large number of crypto investors, specifically those holding Matic on the Polygon proof-of-stake chain need not take any action. Their tokens will automatically convert to POL. Conversely, those on the Ethereum network and Polygon ZK-EVM Layer 2 network might need to manually migrate their tokens to the Polygon portal interface or by bridging to Ethereum. Currently, there is no set deadline for Polygon holders on these platforms to convert their tokens to Pol. However, Polygon has hinted that it might impose a deadline in the future. So you want to actually convert as soon as possible because you don't want to be stuck with Matic tokens after the deadline because it will be worthless. But right now, there are no deadlines right now. Pol will serve critical functions across the network. It will become the native gas and staking token of the Polygon POS network. And everything is actually going to change. They've been actually aiming at this change for quite a while now. So you will definitely want to do this like switch as fast as possible. I think several exchanges have already said they will actually support the upgrade, but sometimes like for some of the exchanges, you will have to actually do this on your own. POL is a hyper-productive token that can be used to provide valuable services to any chain in the Polygon network, including the AG layer itself. It feels good to know that as the community builds towards its exciting vision, the network has a future-proof native token that can secure it and support its growth. I think this is also like a way for them to like raise extra money as well. That's a lot of times why they actually change the actual chain. So, like I actually am not super bullish about Matic and Polygon in this bull run, and that's mainly because of base. And this doesn't really change my opinion of that. But if you do have a bunch of Matic tokens, you do want to convert them into POL tokens as soon as possible, because the upgrade initialization will happen within the next 24 hours. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe, hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.